this little ducky got attacked by a cockerel. But it's growing really well. Jockey. So as I've mentioned before, we're extending the Pheasantry and we're finally getting on with work. So Sard is on the digger. We did get some costs for people to come out and do foundations, and it was like £3,000. And we were like, okay, I'm not paying £3,000 to have foundations put in for us, so let's do it ourselves. So we've got here we have a 9-foot by 12-foot aviary, and it's 9 foot tall. Here is one of the panels. This was originally going to be for our snowy owl Oz, but we have decided that it's too small. Snowy owls are mostly ground dwelling owls, so they don't fly up very much. She won't roost up. And actually, if you can kind of see the circumference, snowy owls have a huge wingspan. That's not that big for her to fly. So we're going to be putting her in the aviary right over the back, which is 9 foot by 15 foot long, which will give her more of space to fly. So we're using the digger just today just to kind of dig out the initial groundworks. We want to lay out the outlines of the foundation. So we're doing 4 aviaries. We've got a single one on its own here. We've got 2 smaller ones that run along that way that are 6 foot by 9 foot, and they're for rearing pheasant chicks. And then, as I said, we've got the 9 foot by 15 foot that we're now going to put Oz in. There is a beautiful tree over there that's got a nice little cave in it, and we're hoping that if we can get a boy, that's where she might breed. So that's the cave. Getting to grips with a digger is quite difficult because there's 2 joysticks and they do multiple things. I don't seem to be very good at it, so Sard is on the digger. It is his area, so he can just play. So we're on day 2 of the build, and we've almost finished laying out the initial groundworks. I need to go in with the pickaxe and just level it off, because this is actually quite a slope down. So on this edge, it's quite shallow, and then it needs to get deeper as we go up. So the foundations are level. That's something we did massively wrong on the original pheasant build. We didn't realise how sloped the site was. So when it came to putting the concrete in, the concrete was all spilling over the top. So we need to get this correct. So we're doing the foundations the first few days, digging out the holes, and then towards the end of the week, we're going to start trying to put in the concrete and making sure it's level. So it's a project that's going to take a few weeks to finish, but I'm very excited. Well, it is another day in the Pheasantry, and we are putting out panels. So we did most of the foundations. We didn't do it exact, but we did it way better than last time. And in fact, actually on Facebook today, it popped up that we were doing the first aviaries, which are over there, exactly 1 year today. So that's a coincidence. But we have laid a lot of the foundations as level as we can. This one is really level, which is good. You can see. So we've got 1 aviary here, and the tree is inside. These panels, we've still got to dig out the channel along there just to put these boundary panels in, because this will be 1 aviary here and then another aviary here. And now we're just working on our snowy owl aviary. We're having to cut it around some trees. We really wanted to keep this tree in because it's got a really cool little cave underneath, and we're hoping that might be where they nest in the future. So we're just putting these back panels in, we're just cutting it around the tree, and obviously infill any of these, we'll probably staple it down to the tree. And then we have a lot of dirt that we need to move out. So because it's a snowy owl and they live in rocky environments, on this back corner we are making a kind of a mound with all of that dirt that will then set stones and stumps and things into. The ditch also runs right behind, so we thought it would be a good idea to create a barrier. So that's today's plan. We're going to try and complete these aviaries, and then we can move the snowy owl in, and then we will start on the final aviary over here. But that's more tricky because there's a lot of trees to put in, and there's some quite deep foundations. Exploring further and further. What are you doing in there? Where are you going? Your house is the other way. Scared of the dog. Come on. Maybe she'll run back now. Meanwhile, I have no clue what's happening with Eve over there. She has a wonky udder. She's a brand new nanny. She's never had any kids. She developed an udder and so milk at the same time as Pie. Now, Pie's had her little boy 2 weeks ago. Eve, there is no signs other than that udder, and you might be able to see it now. She's kind of turning around. She's not puffy at the back end. She's not that big. She lives with a billy, so I would think she would be pregnant. So she's not showing any signs really of pregnancy. Maybe she's having a phantom pregnancy with that udder, but I don't really know what's going on with her. So we're just watching and waiting and seeing what happens. And in the meantime, they continue to destroy the caravan. I need to get some pallets in there ASAP to fix this wall. Hello. Ah, look. Little quaily eggs. Just 3 to date, but they have been laying 8 or 9 eggs a day between 10 hens, which is pretty good. What are you lot doing? Hello? Well, I'm wondering if we might be lucky enough to get a storm, because it's rather dark over there, and here it seems to be ant flying day. They are everywhere, and they often come out just before a storm because it softens the ground out and it means that the newly mated queens can easily more easily burrow into the ground. These are all boys. These are all boy ants awaiting their queens. But yeah, there's a lot of them. And they're all in the air as well, so I'm hoping that maybe that turns into a little bit of rain. Doesn't the pheasantry look lovely in the evening sun? So this is coming on from the aviaries that we have done, and we've got our grey peacock pheasants in here. And then we've got Reeves number 1, Reeves pair number 2, and then the beautiful golden. Look how stunning this boy is now. Hi, you're a beauty. And then this is how far we have got round here. So we've got the first aviary up. We still got to put these middle panels in, which are there. Second aviary, third aviary. So this is Oz's aviary. Sod's been working hard on just meshing around the trees. He's done that back tree where the cave is, and what we're going to do is we are going to add mesh in that gap, and then we're going to pour concrete down there. So there'll be concrete on the mesh just to prevent rats. And then he's got to finish meshing off this tree here. And then this aviary we haven't even started on yet. We will do that towards the end of this week, I think. If you've been following this channel and also Instagram, you'll know we haven't had the greatest luck with pheasants this year. The Reeves have been brilliant. The female golden pheasant got out. The female grey pheasant got really beaten up by the male. We've now put her back in after kind of 6 months of rehabilitation, but she's got the plumage of a female pheasant. She's smaller, but she's showing kind of some display behaviour. So I don't know whether she's maybe gender fluid. We will see next year. Pheasant chicks have been terrible. I did a hatch quite recently and I got 8 Lady Amherst and 2 golden pheasants hatched, and they grew to about 2-3 weeks old, and then they just started dropping dead. They would go wobbly, funny, sometimes they would get better again, and sometimes they would literally just die. I'm down to 2 Lady Amherst, and the only thing that I changed was I went from a normal chick crumb to an organic chick crumb. And today I checked the labels, and on the labels of the chick crumb I normally use, it has the vitamins listed that it has, in particular vitamin E. In the organic chick crumb, there's no list of any vitamins at all. And somebody online did suggest that maybe vitamin E is a problem, or the lack of vitamin E. So I've switched my remaining 2 back on to the old chick crumb. I've also given them some vitamin tonic. We're giving them mealworms crushed up, and we'll see what happens. I have just also had 5 Reeves chicks hatch out. They all had splayed legs. That is corrected. So I'm going to put them on the original chick crumb and we'll see where we get.